Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I've been getting a lot of questions on service dog related stuff. So I decided to do a little video with my own personal service dog name, and her name is Gretchen. I adopted her a couple years ago from the Franklin County Animal Shelter. And so we're just gonna do a couple question and frequently asked questions about service dogs and some of the laws that go with them. So one of the frequently asked questions is, what is a service dog? What makes a service dog, right? So there are three types of working dogs that are kind of surrounding that question. The first one is an emotional support animal. So an emotional support animal is determined by just giving emotional support, giving comfort. So that just means by petting them, you feel better, or just having them around makes your makes your anxiety go away. So it's not necessarily mitigating a disability. The next one is a therapy dog. So the therapy dog, and then also emotional support animals do not have public access at all. The next one is a therapy dog. Hi, bud. The next one is a therapy dog. So a therapy dog is for a group of people. So whether they go to either a hospital or a school or anything like that, a nursing home, to give comfort to a whole group of people. So sometimes bad things happen, like shootings and stuff like that. So they'll have a therapy dog to be there to comfort a group of people. The next one, of course, is a actual service dog, and that is defined as a dog that mitigates a disability, that helps somebody with a disability, whether that's being vision impaired or having panic attacks, and your dog helps you to calm you down by either jumping on you, telling you that your heart rate's going up, or telling you that you're about to have a seizure, or going to get somebody if you pass out. So there's psychiatric service dogs, so the panic attack alert dogs. There is, like I said, the seizure alert or seizure response. There is a whole bunch of them. There's guide dogs for the, like I said, for the visually impaired, and a whole bunch of other ones. As long as they help mitigate a disability. So deep pressure therapy is one of the things that Gretchen helps me with, by helping calm me down with my anxiety. Hi. She also helps me with telling me if I'm about to have a seizure, which is really helpful. And they do actually have public access, so a lot of people wonder as well. Off. Good girl. Down. No. Lay down. Good girl. A lot of people ask, is there a certain registry that you have to go through, or a certain certification? For service dogs, there is no certifications at all. You do have the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act, which goes over a whole bunch of things that protects everybody with a service dog, a true service dog, with legal issues. So when you have a service dog, like I said, you can take them into any public place, whether that be a restaurant, a hotel, or anything like that, and they cannot deny you. If they deny you, certain repercussions can happen, and that's bad, and we don't want that. So we just want to educate a whole bunch of people. There's been a whole bunch of issues recently with people bringing in their service dogs or service animals into Walmart and other places. Recently there's a Facebook group called Trooper and Friends or something like that has a raccoon. I don't know. I don't know really where they're located. I think in California or something. But apparently they've been bringing the raccoon into restaurants and saying it's a service animal. Now, according to the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, there are only two animals that are seen as, or that are able to become service animals, and that's a miniature pony and a dog. They don't say anything about the breed. There's no breed restrictions for service dogs. And I'm not 100% sure on the mini pony. All I know is that the mini pony can be seen as a service animal as long as it does mitigate a disability. So the other question is, who can train them? Stop licking yourself, dude. You're going to hurt yourself. The other, like I said, the other one is who can train a service dog? Does it have to be through a not-for-profit, or does it have to be, through a company? And the answer is no. Legally, you can also owner train. Now that being said, if you don't know how to train dogs, you can definitely try. There's lots of really good YouTube videos, like this channel right here, that do definitely have really good information. However, if it's something like a puppy issue, stop licking yourself. Like a puppy issue, definitely seek the help of a trainer, or somebody that knows how to do that, like a behavioralist at your local vet clinic. Some of the other questions are, what breeds are best for to be service dogs? And really, that answer is kind of loaded. Like I said, I got her from the Franklin County Animal Shelter, and she's been really, really good for me. However, not all shelter dogs are good for your family type. So you also have to be aware of that. So if you're not very active, you do not want to get something like a German Shepherd, a Malinois, or another working breed. You might want to look into maybe a lab or something like that, where you could put them at in the backyard and they can just play around. You also want to think about the age. So a lot of times it's best to get a puppy. However, if you can't get a puppy for whatever reason, that's completely fine. Like I said, you just have to be aware of the issues that might arise from getting an adult dog. So, the last question that somebody asked, and it's a frequent question people ask, is how do you know if it's a service dog? And what are companies or restaurants or entities allowed to ask? What are they allowed to ask to help protect them from fake service dogs? And those are really, really fuzzy answers, and it's really crappy. It's a good and bad thing, because service dogs, one, they don't have to have any identification, because there is no certification that goes along with having a service dog. There is no identification either. So, like I said, that's a good and bad thing. One is because not everyone can afford to get the certification. Not everyone, or to get a potential certification, not everyone can afford an ID for their dog. Now, they still have to follow all the same federal and state laws with their vaccines and their license, their dog license, but there is no service dog registry. Right, Gretchen? Right. So the other thing is what can different companies or restaurants or shops ask? So there's two questions that you are legally allowed to ask, and is it a service dog, and what are the tasks? That is it. You are not allowed to ask about the disability, or you're not allowed to ask for proof, because there is none, and you're not allowed to ask hey, show me your dog working. No. So when you see a service dog, you don't want to be like, oh my god, look at the cute puppy. Some handlers don't mind. I usually don't mind. But if I'm at the grocery store, I just want to get a box of cereal or whatever, just leave us alone, right? Because I usually keep a vest on my dog, and I don't right now because I'm at work. But if you see a dog in a vest, just stay away from them. You don't have to avoid them. Just keep going like you normally would. Treat them as if they were a wheelchair or something else. You don't want to distract them, because if you're kissing and cooing to them, they might miss an alert. Now, an alert is telling us as handlers what is wrong with our body, right? So if a seizure alert dog misses an alert and the handler has a seizure because the dog was distracted, that wouldn't be very good, because that potentially could mean the human's going to fall to the ground, hit their head, and get knocked out or something, and that's not good. So treat any service dog as you would a wheelchair. Just ignore them. We're not going to get offended if you don't point out to our dog. We're going to probably thank you as we walk by, because we get it all the time. I actually have a group of handler friends I talked about in one of my other videos, and we go to the mall pretty regularly, and we sit down, by one of the stores, because we're comfortable there, and A lot of us can't really walk as well. And you know, we look perfectly fine, you know, we're not in wheelchairs, you know, or anything like that, but we do have service dogs. Hi. And then a lot of us do have seizures and stuff like that, or anxiety, or blood pressure issues, stuff wrong with our hearts because, you know, our bodies don't like us or something. And so we were sitting down in front of the store, and we had like 5 or 6 individual people come up and start cooing to our dogs and messing with them, and we were trying to ask them politely to leave, and they wouldn't, and so, you know, we got kind of nasty, and we're like, you know, they're working, stop cooing to them, we know they're cute. You know, they're a lifeline, right? So, if you have the need, just quietly say, oh my gosh, your dog's really cute, and just keep walking, don't say anything else, just compliment us on how well our dog is doing, right? Treat it as if, you know, any other medical equipment, you know, because we paid lots of money, or we spent lots of time on our dog, so we don't want anything to mess that up. Anyway, so that being said, hi, come here, good girl. So how do you know if a dog is actively tasking? You don't, and that's the joy of it. Sometimes it's the dog either jumping on you or, you know, on the handler. Sometimes it's the dog pawing, sometimes it's the dog barking. Sometimes it's super slight that you don't even know. And that's the cool thing, because you guys don't actually have to worry about that unless a service dog without a handler with a vest is coming up to you and is acting like it's bugging you or something like that, pawing at you, barking, whatever. If you see a service dog without a handler, follow that dog, you guys, because it could mean that the handler is down. Probably means the handler is down, so follow it and get ready to call EMTs. So that being said, so let's go over some training tools. So the first one is this. So this is one of my favorite training tools. It is a prong collar. I know it's not legal in some of the other countries that this video might go to, but it is legal in America. Now, I don't know why it's not legal, but whatever. But anyway, so it usually just looks like this, not attached to anything, you know? Yes? I'm fine. I'm fine. I know my heart rate's probably skyrocketing right now. Thank you. Good girl. So like I said, she alerts to my anxiety, and of course doing videos, I have high rate. Get out of my pocket, you freak. Nervousness and stuff like that. So she's actually doing her job quite well. Pull. 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 Good girl. And so I'm using positive reinforcement with treats to tell her that she's doing good with her job. But anyway, so with the prong, you put through the hole, you pull it out, and there's a little clippy. And then you want to clip it right here. I personally unhook it like this and put it around the dog. Now, there have been no instances where these actually hurt dogs. However, it is possible if you actually try. Don't do that because that's mean, and we don't like being mean to our dog. I'm fine, but thank you. Thank you. She's like, Mom, are you okay? Are you okay? Your heart rate's really high right now. I know, Mama. I know, baby. You're good. You're good. Anyway, so the one thing that I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to do heel. And so when you're working a dog, you want to have a handful, or you want to have like a pocket full of treats. Yep. Good girl. So you want to have the treat right here. You want to have the dog on your side. Sit. Yeah, good girl. You want to say, I always have the leash behind my back like this, so that way you can correct a little bit. Good girl. Heel. Take a couple steps and ask for a sit. Good girl. Now, in order to get your dog to sit, come. Good girl. Good. Touch. Good girl. Is when they're standing. Stand. You want to have the treat. As they're standing, you want to put the treat up and back and ask for, no, don't jump. Up and back and ask for a sit. No. Sit. Sit. Good girl. That's also her other behavior. It's to sit pretty. Come on. Sit. Good girl. So that's her other one that she knows. Good. So you want to move them to the side with the treat. You got to cough. Cough. Don't lay down. You got to cough it out if you need to. Cough it out. Don't jump. I know you're excited. Heel. Have the treat like this. So they're watching it. Good. Sit. Good. And once they know sit a little bit, then you can start asking for it. Come. Come on. Good. Heel. Good. Sit. Yeah, good girl. And then once they start getting that, then you stop asking for a sit and it should just be an automatic. Right? So no treat in the hand. Heel. And then stop. Yes, good girl. So a treat is considered a reinforcement. However, there's multiple different types of reinforcements, right? So you could do a treat, you could do a squeaker ball, you could do pets, or you could even up the ante with the different treats. You could do hot dogs, you could do cheese. There's regular provolone or string cheese is just fine. You don't want to do any of that fancy stuff because it could upset their belly. If there's no grain allergies, you could even do Cheerios, but just the plain ones because, like I said, you don't want to upset the tummy. Right, Gretchen? Right. Come on! Now when you're working with come, sit. You want to get really, really excited. Oh my God, no! No, don't jump on me. Don't jump on me. Good girl, oh my God! Come on! Good girl, come! Come on! Now you want to work with the come behavior a lot because it could honestly save your dog's life, right? Your dog runs out the door for whatever reason, and you know you're on a busy street. If you gotta cough, just cough. You're on a busy street, right? And you're like, oh my God, come on! Good girl! And then they're back in the house and you want to give them lots of treats, right? Right? So you want to be more exciting than the stimulus that is distracting. So you want to be more exciting than the leaves. You want to be, hey, hello, come on. You want to be more exciting than the leaves. Sit. Yes, good girl. You want to be more exciting than the leaves, than the poop, than the other dogs or your neighbors, right? Because we all have that random neighbor that's like, oh my God, it's a dog. Come here, dog. Good girl. Good. Now, it doesn't really matter what you call the behaviors. You can call a sit cucumber. Cucumber. That was good. That was good. You're clever. You're clever, doggo. Give me a kiss. Love me. Thanks. Right? So what I'm also doing with my hand, so if you notice, her face is going to move with the treat. So that's called luring a dog into a position, like sit. Away. Thank you. With the treat, because the nose knows best and they're probably going to follow the treat, right? So that's what we're going to do with the down behavior. So a lot of people, because I used to work at like 2 different corporate stores, I was a lead trainer for a couple years. A lot of people are like, hey, good girl, don't jump on me, don't be rude, right? Have a treat in your hand like this, and you want to slowly take it down, and then as they're going down, you want to ask for the DON behavior. Good, down. Once their elbows, right here, hit the ground, that's when you want to say, excuse you, that's when you want to say good down. Sit, sit, good, down, good. Now you don't want to give a treat all the time. Sometimes you want to take your hand away, so then they're still in the down. Good, down. And then, when they're really, really good, then you want to do the release word, which ours is okay. And that means they can get up and do whatever they want. But until then, they still have to be in the down, right? So you can be able to get up. You should be, not you. No, not you. Down. There you go. So, you should be able to get up, you should be able to move around and everything like that, but as soon as you say, okay, that's when they get the treat. So, what if they get up before you say the release word? Down. Down. Right? So you can do a verbal correction. So mine is nope, or oops, try again, or come on dude, lay back down. And that one I usually often pick. So if they're like getting up, and you want to do a physical correction, nope, down, good girl. Now I barely corrected her. So to put it in perspective, here's a totally different prong color. So when I'm correcting, I'm barely pulling it at all. My dog's just kind of a baby, so she's like, oh my gosh, that hurts, when no, you guys, you're perfectly fine. She's also a 65-pound pit mix, so she's good. But anyway, so you want to lightly tug like this, down, in the position that you want your dog to be in. Good girl. Okay. Good girl. Now, for me personally, I don't like my dog jumping on me unless she's alerting, so I'm going to instigate, oh my god, 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 oh my god. Nope. Good girl. And if she jumps, I'm going to say, nope, hands up or behind my back, no attention until they sit, or, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then ask for a sit because it's a contradicting behavior. It just means they can't do the two things at the same time. So obviously they can't jump and sit, good girl, at the same time, right? It just doesn't make sense. Right? Cool. So the last behavior that we're going to go over is place. I'm pretty sure I went over this behavior the other day in the other video, but that's fine, we're going to do it again. So you want to get a bed or a mat or anything really that your dog can fit on, or not fit on, either one. And you want to take the leash, take a, let's move this back up a little bit. Come here. You want to take the leash and treat and lure the dog onto the bed or whatever and say, good place, good girl. Now you want to hold on to the leash. Nope. Place. Good girl. Now if you notice, I did not do any physical correction. Good girl. Good place. Physical correction at all. Now you can walk away if you want while holding onto the leash or not. And if they get off, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm just instigating, seeing if she'll get off. Knocking on the window a little bit, knocking on the wall. Good girl, that was good. And then once they're on there long enough, okay. Good girl. Now, at first they might be a little bit like confused as to if they can get off the bed or not because you're probably working on getting onto the bed and staying on the bed a lot. So then you just want to be like, come on, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Don't jump on me. That was a good choice. So for me personally, I also reinforce good choices. So if you notice them going for a jump, but they don't because you're like, now listen, I told you no, and they're like, oh, okay, fine. Good choice, and give them a treat because they stayed down, right, without having to be corrected or anything. Now you might have done a little bit of verbal correction, like nope, but they still didn't jump, right? So eventually, you should only have to go place. Good girl. Now I want you guys to verbally reinforce. So that means good. I want you guys to praise as soon as the butt hits as soon as the feet hit the placemat or hit the whatever it is. Good. Because for place, they can either sit, they can down, they can do whatever. They can have a toy on place. They just can't move from it. So I don't want you guys to put your dogs into a sit. They can sit on there if they want. But I don't want you guys to put your dogs on a sit or a down or anything like that while on place. So this behavior, in theory, they can be on there for a couple hours at a time if you want. But you know, so I was actually watching a movie the other day and I forgot about my dog on there. I mean, she was right there, she was asleep, she was snoring, but she was still in place. So that was maybe 2.5 hours long. Okay, come on. That was good girl. Good girl. Now, like I said, place can be anything from a bed to a mat at Lowe's or your local hardware store, anything like that. Where would you use place, or why would you use it, you might ask? So you can either do it when you're cooking food, when you're eating. If you have a beggar, go place. I said it, go place. Good girl. If you have a beggar or if you have people over, one of my clients right now has a older family member, as do most of us, and their dog is a puppy, right? So their dog's like a 6-month-old hound, and she likes to jump. So we taught her place, and so anytime the doorbell or somebody knocks on the door, she goes automatically to her dog bed. So we put that on a cue, or we made the doorbell and the knocking a cue to go to place. So a cue is telling the dog exactly what to do and when. So sit or sit or whatever, this is a visual cue, or down or whatever you guys choose to make it. And then verbally, sit or down or whatever is the verbal cue. So like I said, it doesn't really matter the words, it doesn't really matter the visual, as long as you're consistent and as long as it means something. So with her, she knows Czech and she knows German as well as English and some Harry Potter, which is just kind of my fun thing. So come is go me. Good. And then sits or let me. Good. Bueno. Okay. Yeah. So sits is German. Lehni is down. And then komie is Czech as well. Good girl. Like I said, it doesn't really matter the words as long as you put a behavior to it. So spin is confundo, and that's the confusion spell in Harry Potter. So confundo. Nope. Confundo. Good girl. We haven't really done that one in a while. Good girl. Ready? Confundo. Good girl. And then we're also working on Lumos and Nox. No copyrights to that. I don't own any copyrights. I don't know if I need to say that, whatever. But anyway, so what kind of treats can you use for dog training? I don't know. Really anything that your dog likes. So as long as it's not harmful, of course. So you can use Cheerios, you can use regular dog treats. They should be about the size of a pea. Right? And for the itty bitty dogs, maybe cut those in half as well. So I use Zooks. I really like them. Like I said, they're this size. You can use, one of my friends uses chickpeas because her dog has really bad allergies. You can use fruit if you want. Grapes are very toxic to dogs. They don't really know why. They don't know if it's the pulp or the seeds or anything like that. So just stay away from grapes. Yeah. And then you can also use regular chicken, boiled, no seasoning, nothing like that. Wait, you want one? Come on, you gotta do something for it. Backflip! Just kidding, you don't know that. High five! Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Let's see. How to desense your dog, right? Desensing is getting your dog to understand, this isn't really scary, right? It's normal, it's okay, because dogs don't have that thought process that, hey, this isn't gonna hurt me. So even something like a motorcycle or something that's new in a certain area can be kind of scary. For a dog, right? So I honestly don't know if she's ever seen a cane. Now we're working on retrieval with another one of our dogs that we have here. I don't know if she's ever seen it, right? So make sure that you're obviously not like timid around it, right? Because then they're going to be like, why are you freaking out about said object? So you want to have them smell it. Good girl. You want to have them look at it. Good girl. Good girl. And you also want to give them treats as well. So show them it's not scary, right? Good girl. Now you always want to make every interaction positive. Now we're going to drop it and see what happens. Good girl, that was good. She was a little hesitant, but she's like, okay, this is okay. Good girl. Smell it. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. Good girl. She's like, oh, it touched me. It touched me. Good girl. Because, you know, having a dog, get it, find it. Having a dog, having a service dog, you know, you don't want your dog scared of anything, right? Whether a service dog or not. Now, she's usually okay around wheelchairs, but we'll see. Because this thing she sees seems like an attachment to myself, or to me, right? And that can be kind of weird, right? Especially if they don't have that knowledge of, hey, what is that? So she's checking it out. Good girl! That's good, it's okay. He's not going to hurt you. Now, if you have a puppy, you should definitely desense to everything, whether it be wheelchairs or people. I always ask my clients, what do you think, what types of people, what people do you think you should desense your dogs to? Now, some people are like, oh, your neighbors, friends, whatever, right? Which is true. but you want to desense to different ethnicities, black, white, purple, different demographics, anything, different hairstyles, right? You want to, hats is a really big one. She didn't like hats when I first got her because it's weird, right? If you grew up never seeing somebody with a hat or seeing somebody with a certain ethnicity or look, and you see, and that's been a year, and then you see somebody all of a sudden wearing something, or somebody with a different hairstyle or look to them, that can be kind of weird, especially if you don't understand that they're okay, right? It's not that they're bad, it's not that anything happened necessarily. I know, I'm fine. It's just that they're not used to it, right? I know, Mama. It's okay. Good girl. Oh. Yeah, good catch, Gretchen. Let's try that again. Sit. Watch. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Yay. Yay. Now, one more thing before we leave. Dog training should be fun. If you guys have fun with your dog's going to pick up on that, and they're going to have fun. They're going to want to train. So if that means you have to put music on or whatever, if that means you have to put like Netflix on or whatever other TV streaming or TV show you want, that's fine. But you want to make sure you keep it really fun. Woo! And always end on a good note too. One of my old mentors always told me to always end on a good note with training sessions. So if you are having a really, really bad training session, which should typically last about maybe 20-30 minutes each, sometimes you could break it up during the day, but if you have a really bad training session, do something simple, like if you were doing a retrieval with your dog, and your dog's just not getting it, do something like come, or touch, or spin, spin, good girl, something that you know your dog is gonna do, right? And then, okay, all done, good girl, high five, yeah. And you could also add some cutesy stuff in there too. Well, that's it for today. So anyway, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, make sure to like and share this video. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and message me or comment on this video and I will get back as soon as possible. Right, Gretchen? Up, up, up. Did that seriously scare you? Come on, up, up, up. Yeah, good girl. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a really